Hi, Sully 912 News, South Pinellas 912. We're over here at the Municipal Center, Indian Shores here in Florida. We're awaiting the presser of David Jolly, who'll be throwing his hat into the ring for the late Congressman Bill Young's seat. Here we have some tea partiers that are attending. I'm sure we're going to be seeing a lot of familiar faces, such as Patrick Wheeler, plaintiff in the term limits lawsuit. There'll be many, I'm sure, local politicians that will be attending, as well as the veterans. He's Ed Casigula. He's the vice chair of the PCREC. So we know we're going to see quite a few familiar faces. The veterans will also be attending. As you know, Bill and Beverly have been long-term advocates. There's Billy Jr. with his son. As I said before, long-term advocates for the veterans in the military. They have been very strong in supporting the military and veterans. So we are seeing some of that already now. So we're going to see who else we can spot as we're awaiting the arrival of David Jolly to come down and make his announcement for his bid for the Congressman Bill Young's seat. We've been hearing the plane's been circling around the building. As you can see, the banner is being towed behind the plane, and it reads Jolly for Congress. So all the stops have been pulled. We know that Beverly has endorsed long-term friend and aide to Bill Young, David Jolly. So and if there's no other stronger candidate, I can't imagine it would be David Jolly at this time. The press is in place, Channel 9's trucks are there, as well as other members of the media, as we are in place waiting the arrival of David Jolly. Shouldn't take much longer. Yes, there he is, just stepped out of the building. He's hugging and giving handshakes to all his supporters that have come out to show their support for him. It's a nice day, a little bit breezy, but at least it's not raining. So we're just ready to get started. I'm sure there is the mayor of Indian Shores, Jim Lawrence. So let's have him say a few words. Let's listen to what he has to say.
Council. He stopped by Town Hall to say hello, offer any liaison help he could with Congressman Young's office, as he was then the advisor and then later senior advisor of General Counsel. On several occasions, he did provide that assistance, and he also became a regular visitor to Town Hall, attended several social functions and town events over the next several years. In 2008, David volunteered to serve on our Public Services Committee, which he did from 2008 to 2011. When we lost a member of our Board of Adjustments and Appeals in 2009, I again invited David, asking his assistance as a member of that board. He served there since and currently sits as chairperson of the Board of Adjustment and Appeals. David has been a resident and a friend of the Indian Shores for many years. I'm proud to call him my personal friend. It is with great enthusiasm that I can endorse David Jolly in his campaign to represent our community in Washington. Friends, let's have a warm, warm welcome to Mr. David Jolly.
There are a lot of people that have spoken today that I owe gratitude to. Before I do that, though, I want to make one thing very clear in this race. This race is about Pinellas County. And this race is about ensuring that somebody from Pinellas County is elected to represent our communities and our neighbors. This is a Pinellas County race. And therefore, today, as a Pinellas County resident, I am humbled and I am proud to announce my candidacy for Florida's District 13. I do want to thank the mayor. He is a friend. He is my mayor. Mayor Lawrence, thank you for allowing us to disrupt the town's operations this afternoon. To Bill Burke, somebody that I have served with in industry here locally, I know his commitment to jobs. We share that commitment. It's a pleasure and an honor for me to have you here as well. And what can I say about my buddy Mark Lunsford? 5 or 6 years ago, Mark walked into my life and asked for my assistance, doing some pretty special things for pretty special people. And he changed my life. And Mark, I dearly love you for that. Thank you for being here today. And then to Mrs. Young, and to Patrick, and to the Young family. I recognize we all know Mr. Young's legacy. We all know Mr. Young's legacy, but for Beverly, for Patrick, for the Young family, it's personal. And when the Young family steps forward and offers their endorsement, when Beverly Young steps forward on behalf of Bill Young and offers her support, Beverly, win or lose, this is one of the highest honors of my life, and I appreciate that, and I love you for it. But I will also say this is not win or lose. We are going to win this race. And we are going to win this race for the same principle that I opened with, which is because this is a Pinellas County race, and we are going to elect someone from Pinellas County to represent our friends and neighbors. We are going to do that. We are going to win this race. Shortly after I turned 18, I registered to vote like so many others do, and I registered as a Republican. I registered as a Republican because I saw in the Republican Party a belief in the human spirit, support for human ambition, a belief in individual freedom, and not individual mandates. I saw a party that recognized that fiscal issues, how we tax, how we spend, are freedom issues. How the government treats our hard-earned dollars, how they spend it, ultimately affect our freedoms every day. And I saw a party that had a deep belief in equality of opportunity. And I want to tell you why that part is important to me, the equality of opportunity. You are going to hear a lot in this race. You're going to hear a lot from people who think I shouldn't be the one that's elected. So I want to set the record straight on a few things. I do not come from means. I come from a very loving family. I come from a very loving family with a grandfather that worked construction here in Pinellas County for the old J.B. Hunt Construction Company. He had 3 daughters that went through Clearwater High School. One of those daughters, my mother, graduated and fell in love with a young man just out of seminary. And based on that equality of opportunity, they struck out on a path of their own. They went off on the mission field with nothing more than the love of their family, a faith in their God, and the sacrifice and support of their parents. They came back here to Clearwater. And when they did that, my father took a position as a minister at Calvary Baptist Church. I was born in Dunedin. When I graduated from college, I had never been north of Tennessee. But when I graduated from college, I had a love in my heart for public policy and public service, and it was something I wanted to do. So I struck out on my own, and I went to Washington, D.C. And just as my parents had done before me, I did that with nothing but the love of my family, the faith in my God, and the sacrifice and support of my parents. That is why I'm a Republican, because I believe that we are the greatest nation on earth, and it allows each and every one of us the equality of opportunity to do exactly what we need to do. But I also know this, that Democrats are always wrong, because I registered as or independents are always wrong. That is a Washington-based notion. That is not a Pinellas County notion.
That's right.
That's right. We owe it to ourselves. We owe it to ourselves to get past that. We lost sight of the fact that Republicans and Democrats and independents can all work together. That we can all come together and put our nation first, put our community first, put Pinellas County first. We all bring differing core convictions. But that does not mean that we are not able to sit down at the table, discuss those core convictions, find areas where we can agree, and in those areas where we disagree, decide that we can still overcome those, work together as a community and as a people. Despite disagreements, we all owe it to ourselves, to our community, and in particular our elected officials owe it, to conduct ourselves with honesty, with integrity, with cooperation, with respect, and with the attitude of putting people first. That is who Congressman Bill Young was. That is the representative that Bill Young was. That is the Republican that Bill Young was, and I am proud today to call myself a Bill Young Republican. Our nation is in trouble. We know that. We see the problems every day. We hear of all the problems from our elected officials. We hear of them from 24-hour news. And yet, the solutions for this administration and for some in Congress seem just out of reach. It's not that difficult. We know the problems. It's a matter of coming together, Republicans, Democrats, Independents alike, and finding solutions. When this president first took office, the national debt, meaning 220 years of cumulative spending, had resulted in $10 trillion in debt. In 220 years since the founding of our republic, we had built up $10 trillion in debt. When this president leaves office, that number will likely be $20 trillion in 8 years, having doubled what it took 220 years of debt for our nation to accumulate. In our lifetime, mandatory government spending will consume every dollar that the Treasury takes in, leaving nothing for the basic functions of government. If we allow this to happen, it leaves nothing other than debt spending to afford the opportunity to provide for our defense, for our national security, for our men and women in uniform, to provide for the environment, for the renourishing of our beaches, to provide for higher education. If we do not rein in mandatory spending, we will be broke. And let me tell you this, the greatest threat to our national security as a country is not a young man on a plane who tries to blow his shoe up. The greatest threat to our national security is irresponsible governance in Washington that lets our country fall off a fiscal cliff and destroy our nation from the inside. District 13 also faces another challenge. We are replacing one of the most senior members of Congress, the most senior Republican. We are replacing a statesman with 53 years of community service and 43 years in the House of Representatives. If a candidate in this race suggests that they can step in and change Washington, they're either being disingenuous or they don't understand the job they're stepping into. The next member of Congress from this district will be number 435 out of 435. The effectiveness of that member will rely solely on their qualifications and their ability to get things done in Washington. I had the good fortune of a remarkable life opportunity, and that was an opportunity to work alongside our late Congressman Bill Young, to learn from him, to be there as he showed us a steady hand of governance, as he represented the people of Pinellas County, but as he represented the nation with integrity. I was there alongside him as he identified ways to invest in Bay Pines, to provide for our veterans, to provide for their families, as he identified ways to invest in transportation and infrastructure, as he identified ways to invest in higher education in St. Petersburg, as he identified ways to invest in community organizations here in Pinellas that provide for our most needy. And I was with him as he found ways to invest in our defense industry here at home, to shore up the economic base of Pinellas County, and to demonstrate that a member of Congress can provide for our men and women in uniform, can give them the tools and technology they need, can provide them the health care they need, while at the same time investing in jobs here at home for both the skilled and unskilled labor force. That is what I have learned from working with Bill Young, and that is a legacy that I will be able to continue. That is why I believe I'm the person that on day one can step into this job like no other candidate in this race. I will conclude with saying to everyone here, you're here because friends and supporters. I appreciate that. And I want to tell you something. I want to make a pledge to you. We are going to win this race. But we are going to win this race the right way. We're going to win this race on substance. We're going to win this race based on the qualifications of the candidates that stand before the people in Pinellas County and ask for their support and ask for their vote. That is how we are going to win this race. And we are going to win this race with Republicans, with Democrats, and independents. We're going to win this race with Pinellas County Republicans, Pinellas County Democrats, and Pinellas County Independents. You also have my pledge on this. I woke up 3 or 4 days ago and thought, if I'm entering this race, I'm going to wake up every day knowing who I am and behaving appropriately. I'm going to be myself every day of this race. And as part of doing that, this campaign is going to dispense with the partisan rancor, the partisan rhetoric, and the idea that a national party can drop into Pinellas County with a candidate of their choosing and tell us what we should think and who we should vote for. This is going to be a Pinellas County race run based on our convictions, based on this team here, and not based on pundits. The pundits in Washington, somebody shared with me earlier today, have already called us the underdog. I like that. I like being the underdog. So if the pundits are calling me the underdog, they don't realize it's going to take an underdog to change their ways in Washington. And we're going to do that. We're going to do that for the people of Pinellas County, and we're going to do that for Washington, for America. We are, in this campaign, we are going to break up politics as usual. We are not going to let the national parties come in here and run this race, not in our backyard. Ladies and gentlemen, it is an honor to stand in front of you as a Bill Young Republican. I ask you to consider my qualifications. I ask you to consider my candidacy. I ask for your support. Let's go win this for Pinellas County. Thank you very much.
Well, there you have it. The mayor of Indian Shores, Jim Lawrence, giving David Jolly his full endorsement, as well as a businessman, and of course Mark Lunsford, how we could ever repay David Jolly. So this is Sully 912 News. I'll see you later.